Good evening. How you doing, Mr. Voorhees? Doing okay? First, I would ask that we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's my pleasure this evening to welcome all of you to the Educator of the Year celebration. But we have a little celebration that we need to take care of first, and that is, I don't know how many of you people know that Mrs. Walsh, who has been a board member for 8 years, 7.5 years, but who has been involved in the school district for over 15 years, is actually resigning, and tonight is her last evening board meeting. So Marianne, I'd ask that you'd come up and join us, please. And I'd also like to introduce the board president, Mrs. Helen Kirsch, to share us a few words.
Good evening. Where do I begin? Even before becoming a board member of our board, Marianne was an advocate not only for our school district, but for the entire township of Berkeley Heights. As a local realtor, she introduced many home buyers to the virtues of our community. She served the township as a member of the Recreation Committee, and one could always find her with her sleeves rolled up working at many of the community activities they sponsored. As a resident of the township, I have to thank Marianne for her tireless efforts toward enhancing our lives as citizens of Berkeley Heights. But she didn't stop there. We are proud of the fact that our district is known for providing a first-rate education to our youngsters. Marianne, being the person that she is, was not going to let all that education happen without contributing to those efforts. When her children entered school, she became an active PTO member, it was PTA back then, devoting countless hours in each of the schools as her children moved up through the grades. There still was a void she knew she could fill. So when the opportunity arose, she applied for an open board seat and was appointed to our board on the 4th of December, 2008. As a fellow board member, we shared frustrations, but celebrated a lot of successes. We could always count on Marianne's knowledge, insight, and her unique ability to put initiatives that we were exploring into perspective, most notably the rotate and drop schedules at GL in Columbia and the use of iPads for all students in the high school, and next year the 8th graders at Columbia. During her tenure, we hired our outstanding superintendent, 2 assistant superintendents, and dozens of district and building level administrators and teachers. Taking her boardmanship seriously, Marianne made every effort to attend as many training opportunities as possible sponsored by New Jersey school boards, and she put all she learned to good use while serving on the Strategic Plan Committee, Communication Committee, the Budget Committee, and as a liaison to the Union County School Boards, and I think most dear to her heart, the Curriculum Committee. Marianne was a true champion for our special education programs. We've enhanced academic and elective curricular offerings, implemented extensive district-wide technology initiatives, and expanded the district's professional development program. There have been major renovations in all 6 of our buildings, most recently the unanticipated renovation of the World Language Wing at Columbia. Marianne has been a stalwart for our entire community for a long time. On a personal note, Marianne, in addition to all the aforementioned accomplishments, together we celebrated and applauded the successes of our families and children as they ventured through school or embarked upon new phases in their lives. I will miss those chats, my friend. Mary Ann, on behalf of the board, I want to thank you for your endeavors throughout the years. We wish you and yours the very best as you turn the page and begin this next chapter of your lives. We'll miss you.
This was, even though I probably should have expected it, unexpected. I'm not really one for the spotlight, as you probably all know. I would just like to say that my time on the board has been truly a great honor for me. This is an amazing community. We have unbelievable volunteers, educators, administrators, community members, people who really care about Berkeley Heights. And being involved, especially in the educational part of it and giving whatever help I could to the process, has just been a really wonderful and valuable experience for me. And I cannot thank enough the group of people that is here on this board currently and some past members as well, and particularly Mrs. Ratner, for all of the work they do every single day for our children. And whether you agree or disagree with some of the things we might do or say, everybody is working for the same goal: to continually improve what we can offer our children and to make sure our district has the best school system possible. And I feel really proud to have been a part of that and truly honored. So thank you all. Sorry for taking up time on this special night. I appreciate it.
I just want to add a couple of comments to that. First of all, I want to thank Mary Ann's family for sharing her with us, not just since she's been a board member, but as long as I've been in the district for 15 years, just about any meeting I went to, Mrs. Walsh was there. Was it the Ed Foundation? Was it a PTA meeting? Was it a curriculum committee meeting? She was there, and always, she credits us for really focusing on the students, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that she always redirected us and reminded us why we were doing what we're doing. So Mary Ann, I can't thank you enough. We will miss you, and we really appreciate everything you've done for us. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jerry Crisanino. He is our vice president of our Board of Education, but actually, I'm probably one of the first persons in public to be able to tell you, Jerry is also being recognized on the statewide level. He's rolling his eyes. He has been selected as the New Jersey Special Education Administrator of the Year. And for the state of New Jersey, for his position at the Jersey City Board of Education. So we're very fortunate that he is with us, but tonight I'm calling upon him in terms of being the vice president to the board, and thank him for all of his tireless efforts with us, but also for apparently countless children throughout New Jersey. Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, so enough embarrassment, and let's get to why we're really here. On behalf of the board, President Helen Kirsch, and my fellow board colleagues, I would like to welcome everyone to our annual Teacher Appreciation Ceremony. Tonight is our opportunity to honor 6 of our best and brightest, and who represent countless numbers of their peers as educators of excellence. Who amongst us are not indebted to the special teachers, school nurses, child study team persons, to name just a few, who arguably impacted our lives both in and out of the classrooms? Mentor, role model, protector, and friend, these individuals helped to mold us into the people we are today. I am certain that each of us can identify at least one of these dedicated professionals whom we fondly remember as someone who really cared about instilling in each of us the knowledge, skills, and values that have enriched our lives on a daily basis. The role of an educator, regardless of what job you perform in a school, is often one of long hours of planning lessons at home, worrying about students long after your workday is ended, and yes, even on the beaches of the Jersey Shore, the pondering on how you can make each day a little better for those precious jewels entrusted to you. So during this special night, please join us in honoring our unsung heroes, the Berkeley Heights 2014 Teachers of the Year.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Grace Acosta, Assistant Principal at Columbia, and Tara Oliveira, Assistant Principal at Governor Livingston High School. These ladies were responsible for facilitating the selection process for our Educators of the Year, and I want to thank you publicly for all the time and energy that you put into that selection process, and thank you in advance.
Thank you, Mrs. Ratner. Good evening. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you this evening. As educators, we all look to inspire and to make a difference in the lives of children. We strive to establish a productive classroom climate and rapport with students while keeping up with the most current trends and strategies that are most effective for their learning styles. Tonight, we honor and celebrate educators who have made lasting impressions on the lives of their students, parents, and colleagues. In January, letters were sent and posted inviting parents, students, staff members, and community members to select nominees that they felt best exhibited the qualities of Educator of the Year.
Based on those nominations, a committee comprised of prior Educators of the Year, members of the PTO, and a board member met to complete the silent voting selection process. Ballots were counted, and our 2015 Educators of the Year were selected. In mid-April, Mrs. Ratner, armed with flowers and balloons, took to the schools to surprise this year's recipients. As she entered classrooms, curious students wanted to know why the superintendent was visiting with gifts. They soon learned that their teachers would be the ones who were awarded the distinct honor of the 2015 Educator of the Year. We would now like to turn the program back over to Mrs. Ratner as she honors and introduces each recipient.
As I began to think about our celebration this evening, I was reminded of a statement by Oprah Winfrey. She once shared, "I've come to believe that each of us has a personal calling that's as unique as a fingerprint, and that the best way to succeed is to discover what you love and then find a way to offer it to others in the form of service, working hard, and also allowing the energy of the universe to lead you." The educators we are honoring this evening each have a personal calling to help children be the very best they can be. Just like their calling is as unique as their fingerprint, so are the children whose lives they touch every day. They have discovered what makes each of their students unique and then focused on helping each of them realize their full potential. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our 2015 Teachers of the Year, who help to nurture our students every day in order to produce tomorrow's world. I would first like to ask Laura Doringer to join me. Miss Laura Doringer started her career in education in October 1985 as a teacher in the class for perceptually impaired students at William Woodruff School. She transitioned to a grade 2 classroom assignment at Woodruff in September of 1989 and continued teaching second graders for the next 22 years. Laura began her current assignment as grade 1 teacher at Mary K. McMillan Early Childhood Center in September of 2011. Ms. Doringer has a great respect and appreciation of nature and always looks to foster connections between classroom learning and the outside world for her students, explained Annie Curley Hand, principal of Mary K. McMillan Early Childhood Center. As a veteran teacher, Ms. Doringer recognizes the need for 6-year-olds to keep moving, whether through an engaging spelling game, a quick nature walk, or a 10-minute playground break. Ms. Doringer connects with her students on a personal level, and they look forward to hearing stories of her dogs Tucker and Dixie and her horse Max. A graduate of Governor Livingston High School, Ms. Doringer earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in Early Childhood Education and a Special Education certification from Kean University. She has been commended by her principals for being a thoughtful planner who recognizes that each student is unique and flexibility is required to address individual needs. Through her collaboration with colleagues and personal reflection on lessons and programs, Laura finds a way to continually enhance her instructional efforts. Honored as the Teacher of the Year at William Woodruff during the 2000-2001 school year, Laura has served as a summer school teacher and social decision-making club advisor, in addition to assisting with student drama productions and being a member of the School Objective Committee, Differentiated Supervision Committee, and District Liaison Committee during the course of her career. It is my honor to recognize Ms. Lauren Doringer as the McMillan Teacher of the Year.
Last time I was up here, I did not need reading glasses. And I'm sure I'm going to overlook somebody. Mrs. Ratner, Mr. McKinney, Mrs. Corley, board members, fellow teachers, parents, students and friends, and former students, I was excited to learn that I had been selected as Mary Kay McMillan's Educator of the Year. Soon after I got the news, people began congratulating me and reminding me that I'd have to give a speech. I began to start feeling anxious. However, knowing that the president has a speechwriter and people to help with public relations, I asked for input from my class on what I should say and how I should deal with being nervous. To deal with being nervous, several children suggested I do yoga, and another suggested I close my eyes and calm down, which, interestingly enough, is what I suggest they do when they get too excited. Another suggested I close my eyes and put my head down and count to 10. I'd also like to share with you some of the things the children in my class said about me being selected. Some of the children wanted to know if I would get a prize. When I asked what they thought I should receive, the suggestions ranged from a trip to Florida, to donuts, to $50 or a new convertible. Next, they wanted to know if they would get a prize. Suggestions for their prize included pets for everyone, which might not go over so well with the parents, to free pizza or all of Mrs. Corley's money. On a more serious note, I want to say that if I possess qualities that make me a strong educator, I feel it is due in large part to the educational foundation I received as a student in the Berkeley Heights School District, as well as from all the support I've received over the years of my teaching career here in Berkeley Heights from the administration, my principals, colleagues, and the parents of the students in my classes. My own parents thought so highly of the educational system in Berkeley Heights that they were willing to live a modest lifestyle here so that they could raise their children here rather than in another town where the cost of living might be less expensive. I hope that I am part of the reason people with children still choose to move to Berkeley Heights. Thank you for recognizing my efforts.
I'd now like to ask Ms. Cheryl Harris, President of Mary Kay McMillan PTO, to join us.
Ms. Derringer, on behalf of the Mary Kay McMillan Early Childhood Center PTO, congratulations on being named Teacher of the Year. Thank you for the dedication you've shown to your students, and I'm sure that throughout their lives, they will always think fondly of you when they think back on their year in first grade. Congratulations.
Miss Doringer has a special fan club who all wanted to come up to give her some gifts. I think you might need a few. If you were an octopus, you might be okay. You might have enough arms at that point. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for making Miss Doringer's day even more special. I think we're all set now. Okay. Christina, would you come join me, please? Christina Cerullo is Thomas P. Hughes School Teacher of the Year. After starting her career in the Mount Olive School District in 2008, Ms. Christina Cerullo began working in the Berkeley Heights Public Schools in September of that year as a teacher of special education at Hughes School. In the 7 years since, Christina has served in a wide variety of teaching assignments at Hughes School, including second grade in-class support reading and math, grade 3 resource room math and reading, grade 4 resource room language arts, and 5th grade support in reading. Ms. Cerullo is the teacher that every parent should want for their child, said Jessica Nardi, principal of Hughes School. She is creative and fun, creating lessons that appeal to all learners while still covering all curricular areas and establishing a solid educational foundation for her students. She challenges her students not by providing the right answers, but rather by posing the right questions. She is a gift to her students and a treasured colleague. Ms. Cerullo earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology, special education, and elementary education, and received her Master of Arts degree in educational psychology, both from Marist College. Christina has been lauded as a strong and consistent educator whose nurturing nature, patience, and ability to differentiate instruction makes her the ideal teacher for students with unique learning and social needs. She sets her high expectations for her students and provides the support they need to be successful. Ms. Cerullo has contributed to the Hughes community outside of the classroom as well, serving as the school's yearbook advisor, as a volunteer for various PTO activities, and participant in the BHEF basketball game, as a member of the Math Olympics Committee, and as a mentor for a student teacher. Christina also has been a valued member of the district's Vanguard group, staff members who share their expertise in using technology in the classroom by voluntarily educating other teachers in the effective use of iPads, Promethean boards, document cameras, and other educational technology. Again, it's my pleasure to introduce Christina Cerullo, Hughes Teacher of the Year.
Good evening, Mrs. Ratner, Board of Education members, administrators, colleagues, family, friends, and students. I would first like to congratulate my fellow colleagues on receiving this honor and say I'm humbled to share the stage with you. From the moment I walked into Thomas P. Hughes School for my interview, I knew it would be a place I would be so pleased to call home. I used the word home because it was inviting, warm, and friendly, something I was looking for in elementary school. 7 years ago, I remember the teachers I met at Hughes were excited to introduce themselves and welcome me to their staff. From that moment, I could tell this was going to be a great place to work. And now, 7 years later, I thank them for showing me what it means to be caring, dedicated, and most importantly, how to work as a team. As a special education teacher, I am lucky to have the opportunity to co-teach and collaborate with the general education teachers. I truly enjoy working so closely with my colleagues and appreciate all their advice and many hours spent planning together. From each of you, I have learned something new about teaching. I also want to thank Mrs. Nardi, my principal, Mrs. Gardner, my supervisor, the child study team members, and my fellow special education teachers at Hughes. Your support and collaboration is truly invaluable, and I appreciate all the time we spend brainstorming and problem solving on how to better reach our students. Without you, I would not be standing here tonight. You could probably see why Thomas P. Hughes School is such a special place. But before I knew I wanted to be a teacher, I learned to value education from my parents. From an early age, they taught my siblings and me how important school is for our future. Our education came first, and my parents worked so hard to afford us the opportunity to continue our education and go to college. And for that, I am eternally grateful. They taught me what it means to work hard, dedicate yourself to something, and respect everyone whom you may meet in your path in life. These are the values I teach my students. Your education is important. It comes first in your life. And of course, respect, the only rule in my classroom. I can remember being young and walking through the streets of my parents' hometown in Italy, and they made me say hi to everyone. I remember thinking to myself, I don't know these people, so why did I have to smile and greet them? It didn't dawn on me until I started teaching and realized I need to greet my students every day with a smile and a hello, to show them they are respected, valued, and cared for. Well, now I understand the lesson my parents were teaching me, so I especially thank them for showing me what it means to truly care about others. I believe this is what helped me become a teacher, and now I teach my students the lesson of caring. I would also like to thank my brothers and my sister, a fellow teacher, for understanding the meaning of a small success and knowing the worry of trying to reach each student. And finally, to my boyfriend, thank you for your endless support and encouragement. And last but not least, I want to thank the students and families at Hughes School. I am grateful for the support I receive from parents and their willingness to collaborate with me for the betterment of their child. And to my students, I thank you for making me smile every day. You are the reason I dedicate myself to teaching, and you are the reason I am standing here tonight. Thank you all again for such an amazing honor. I am so grateful.
Now I'd like to introduce Hughes PTO President Elizabeth Kane.
When I asked others about Ms. Cerullo, one thing kept coming up, that she has a true gift for knowing exactly what each student needs to be successful. She is so deserving of this honor. On behalf of the Hughes PTO, I would like to congratulate Ms. Cerullo for a job well done and being named the Educator of the Year. Congratulations. Thank you.
Ms. Lori Liming. Ms. Lori Liming is the Mountain Park School Teacher of the Year and has been teaching at Mountain Park since September of 1997. She has been employed in her current assignment of second grade teacher since September of 2013, but she has taught in grades 4, 5, and 2 at various times during her years in Berkeley Heights. Ms. Liming strikes a fine balance between student-centered creativity and traditional rigor in her instructional efforts, explained John Morisseau, principal of Mountain Park. She maintains a high level of accountability for her students and utilizes extensive differentiation and a wide variety of cooperative learning strategies to help each child reach his or her full potential. The 2001-2 Teacher of the Year at Mountain Park, Ms. Liming earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in sociology, completed her certification coursework, and received her Master of Arts degree in Education, Human Services Leadership, all from the College of St. Elizabeth. At Mountain Park, Lori is well known for making very good use of educational technology, partner and small group cooperative activities, and individualized instruction to enrich learning and maximize student comprehension. She also takes great pride in the many community outreach initiatives conducted by her students, which includes sending cards to patients in veterans hospitals and nursing homes, conducting a used book sale with proceeds going to worthy causes, and sponsoring blood drives. In addition to her efforts in the classroom, Ms. Liming is currently serving as faculty advisor to the Yearbook, Circle of Friends Club, Safety Patrol, and Writing Club. Over the course of her career at Mountain Park, Lori has also served as a summer school teacher, as a mentor for a provisional teacher, and as a member of the Language Arts Curriculum Committee, Report Card Committee, and School Goal Committee. It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Lori Liming, Educator of the Year for Mountain Park.
Hello, Mrs. Ratner, administrators, members of the board, colleagues, friends, and family. Thank you so much for this honor. My years at Mountain Park are among the best in my life. It started in 1996 as a student teacher. Between then and now, I've earned a master's degree, was Teacher of the Year in 2002, and coincidentally became a parent tonight, 12 years ago. So happy birthday, Tom. And for me, teaching isn't just a job or a career that I settled for. It's my passion. My family teases me because I've never actually left school. I've been going since about 1975. And every September, I'm that same nervous schoolgirl, wondering, excited to see what the year's going to bring. But just like my dad, I go to work happy every day. It's a really good life. Most of you have heard that it takes a village to raise a child. And the reason I choose to live and teach in this town is because I've been to a lot of places, but there is no better village than Berkeley Heights. Education is clearly a priority, and it's evident whenever I speak to administrators, parents, and former students of mine who have now become teachers. Oh, I lost a page, sorry. I've been teaching for a while now, and one of the many things that I learned early on is to choose my words carefully, because the children are listening. When I was about 24, I was teaching in 4th grade at Mountain Park. I wrote the following sentence on a chalkboard, and yes, back then, it was a chalkboard. I wrote, "I ain't had no fun this summer." So eagerly I asked my class, what should I do to correct this? I patiently waited, giving the appropriate amount of think time, and finally, Jimmy raised his hand. "I ain't had no fun all summer," I repeated. "What should I do, Jimmy?" "Get a boyfriend," he answered. Yes, teaching is humbling. And now I'm always careful about what I say in front of my children. I choose my words carefully because the children are listening. When I say, "I believe in you, you can do this," or when I asked in my well-enunciated, "Is that really your best voice?" they are listening. When I tell them that in our classroom, we don't say, "I can't," we say, "I choose not to," they are listening. So to my students who are listening here tonight, remember to follow your heart and your head, keep making wishes, and never let anybody else determine how you feel about yourself. I also have to thank the BHEF and the Mountain Park PTO for awarding me so many grants. My classroom wouldn't have its fabulous stage, the microphone, or the countless other materials without your generosity. Mr. Morriso, thank you for allowing me to take risks with my students, anything from using stability balls instead of chairs or trying out brain gym or anything and beyond. Joyce and Anna, my 2nd grade colleagues, thank you so much for our lunchtime strolls. A little fresh air does wonders for the 2nd grade team. To my Mountain Park family, thank you for all that you have done for me. And to my Hex, I'm always feeling the love. Thank you for being in my corner of the ring, even when there isn't a fight. And Tommy and Matt, there's nothing in this world that we couldn't do together. Thanks for being the best sons that any mama could ever have. I would not be the teacher I am today if it wasn't for them. Thank you again.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Mila Trigos, PTO President of Mountain Park.
On behalf of the Mountain Park community and PTO, it is my honor to present this gift to our Educator of the Year, Ms. Lori Liming, thank you so much for your empathy, creativity, and dedication to the school and its students. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheryl McKinney, will you join me, please? Mrs. Cheryl McKinney is the William Woodruff School Educator of the Year. She has been a member of the faculty at William Woodruff School since September of 1997. She taught grade 5 social studies, language arts, and science during the early stages of her career before moving to a 4th grade assignment in September of 2006. Cheryl is currently teaching 2nd grade and has been doing so for the past 3 years. It has been said that some teachers were born to teach, and this is true in the case of Cheryl McKinney, said Patricia Gasparini, principal of Woodruff School. She is a gifted, passionate, and caring teacher who is driven to meet the individual needs of her students. She sees herself as a coach in the classroom and is able to instruct, work with, and encourage her students to have a can-do attitude. Mrs. McKinney understands that mastery can only be achieved if the students completely understand the concept in a manner that aligns with their learning styles. This is where Cheryl's creativity is best seen, as she develops lessons and activities which incorporate movement, music, art, technology, visuals, and hands-on exploration. Mrs. McKinney graduated from Governor Livingston High School and then went on to earn her Bachelor of Science degree in elementary ed from St. Francis University, where she was a 4-year member of the varsity soccer team. Known for an enthusiastic approach which inspires her students, Cheryl has always been commended for making learning real and fun for the children she teaches. Outside of the classroom, she has coordinated the Kindness and Justice Challenge at Woodruff School, mentored a student teacher, served on the Elementary Science Curriculum Committee. Mrs. McKinney has also served as the faculty advisor to the school's yearbook, safety patrol, computer club, and student council at various times during her career, in addition to being assistant coach for the girls' soccer and indoor track teams at Governor Livingston High School. She was honored as Teacher of the Year at William Woodruff School during the 2007-08 school year. It is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Cheryl McKinney, Educator of the Year for Woodruff School.
I'm watching all these tall people come up before me and wondering if there's going to be a stool. All right. There's a story about that. Good evening, Mrs. Ratner, Board of Education members, administrators, fellow teachers, parents, and students. I'm so honored to be here tonight to represent Woodruff School. I feel extremely privileged to work here in Berkeley Heights. As Ms. Ratner said, having grown up in town, I take an incredible amount of pride in my job as a teacher here. I am grateful to Mrs. Ratner and the Board of Education for their constant work to make Berkeley Heights an outstanding district and one that all of us can be proud of. I certainly wouldn't be standing up here today if it wasn't for the many people who support me and are there for me each and every day. First and foremost, I would like to thank my students. They are the ones who add adventure, and many of you know them, boundless energy to my days. Each day brings new discoveries, a wealth of information, much laughter, and mutual respect. In fact, when I walked in, one of my students said, "I thought you might do a cartwheel up there for them, but you're wearing a dress." The students are the true nucleus of our day-to-day experiences and are the reason why we teach. I tell non-educators all the time that education is one of the greatest jobs. Every day is different from the next. Each day is a fresh new start, and it's full of surprises and circumstances that I can never predict, even after 18 years. I would also like to thank my principal and all the staff members at Woodruff School. Ms. Gasparini provides the guidance and resources that we need to ensure that each student receives the best that we have to offer at Woodruff. When you're surrounded by excellence, you raise the bar. You strive to be excellent too. All the teachers at Woodruff are deserving of this award. They are excellent. Their dedication to this profession and their unwavering efforts to provide each student with an incredible elementary school experience are something to strive for. Each and every staff member is always there for me when I need them, and there are days when we all need to lean on each other and count on each other to make great things happen. A special thanks to my grade level colleagues, Mrs. Finkelstein, Ms. Triggs, and Ms. Barmakian. We bounce ideas off one another, we share lessons and strategies, while we still maintain our own unique identity, and we go above and beyond for the second graders in our building. Of course, at the heart of my world is my family. I really need to thank my husband, Scott, and my boys, Ryan and Christopher, for being my #1 fans always. It isn't easy to be the child of a teacher. You share your mom with 18 strangers each and every day, but the sharing doesn't end Monday through Friday when the bell rings. Whether I stay at work late or spend my Sundays planning for the coming week, they love me and support me and understand my commitment to be the best that I can be each day. In closing, I would like to congratulate the other educators that are being honored here tonight. I have known many of them for a long time. I'm so grateful to share the stage with all of you, and I know that you too are deserving of this recognition. Thank you again, all of you, for the collaboration that goes into making the Berkeley Heights Schools a perfect place to work. Thank you.
I'd now like to introduce Kelly Lejic, representing the PTO at Woodruff.
On behalf of William Woodruff PTO, I'm thrilled to be here to congratulate Mrs. McKinney. My daughter, Mia, had the pleasure of being in her class last year. My family loved her, and we couldn't be happier for her.
Dawn, will you join me on stage, please? Mrs. Dawn McGann is the Columbia Middle School Teacher of the Year. She started her teaching career as a substitute replacement in the Library Media Center at Thomas P. Hughes School in September 2001. She moved over to Columbia Middle School as a leave replacement teacher of social studies later that school year, and she was employed as a grade 6 language arts and social studies teacher at CMS during the 2002-2003 school year, filling in for a staff member who was out on maternity leave. Mrs. McGann was finally appointed to her first permanent position in September 2003. Teaching grade 7 English and Social Studies at Columbia. Dawn has been in her current assignment teaching grade 7 Social Studies for the past 11 years. Mrs. McGann is known by her quiet nature and by the effective lessons she conducts, which often include getting everyone on their feet and collaborating on the social studies topic which is being discussed, explained Frank Geiger, principal of Columbia. Her colleagues are universal in their praise for Dawn as a kind person who is always seeking excellence, an individual who is a true asset to our school and district. Mrs. McGann earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in elementary education and psychology from Kean University, and she received her Master of Arts degree in educational technology from Walden University. Outside of the classroom, Dawn has been a member of the Columbia Middle School core team and professional development committee, in addition to serving as a presenter for new teacher meetings. Well known for her ever-present smile, Mrs. McGann has been commended for presenting well-organized lessons and for using a wide variety of instructional techniques to engage all of her students in meaningful ways. Dawn's command of the subject matter, combined with her great enthusiasm in the delivery of content, integration of technology, the rapport she has developed with her students, and her focus on making those students active learners, has enabled her to succeed as a middle school teacher. Congratulations, Mrs. McGann, Columbia Middle School Teacher of the Year.
First, I just want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedule to come here tonight. I know we all really appreciate you coming out and supporting us, so thank you so much. When I was in 5th grade, I remember walking home from school with my best friend. We were talking about what we wanted to be when we grew up. She said she wanted to be a teacher. I remember my exact response, and I quote, "Ew, why would you want to do that? Then you'll have to spend the rest of your life in school." Ironically, she never pursued education, but I went on to fall in love with it. I grew up watching Sesame Street and discovered that learning can be fun. This is something that I try to incorporate as much as possible in my classroom, whether we're investigating the murder of Julius Caesar, traveling around Europe trying not to contract the Black Plague, or playing Where in the World is Mrs. McGann. William Butler Yeats once wrote, "Education is not filling a pail, but the lighting of a fire." I hope to light that fire in my students and inspire them to follow their own passions. I'm incredibly blessed to be surrounded by so many great educators here in Berkeley Heights who could just as easily be standing where I am right now. Thank you to my administrators, colleagues, and friends who have supported me year after year. I would also like to thank my parents and husband. I would not be the person I am today without your love and encouragement. Last, but certainly not least, I would like to thank my wonderful students. Each and every day, I learn something new from you, making me not just a teacher, but an eternal student. Thank you very much for this honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Columbia PTO President Donna Mukhtaris.
We are so fortunate at Columbia Middle School to have so many dedicated and talented teachers. I wish that we could present this award to each and every one of them. Alas, only one is chosen. This year, Ms. McGann, you are our chosen educator, our chosen first among equals, our Teacher of the Year for Columbia Middle School. On behalf of the PTO, we would like to congratulate you on joining this long, illustrious list of exemplary educators. Congratulations.
I wonder who could be next. Mr. Voorhees, would you join me, please? Joseph Voorhees is the Governor Livingston Educator of the Year. Mr. Voorhees has been employed as a teacher of television production and broadcasting at Governor Livingston High School since September of 2007. He came to Berkeley Heights after having taught in the Springfield School District for 2 years. Mr. Voorhees is a talented educator who demonstrates his passion for his students and his subject on a daily basis, said Scott McKinney, principal of GL. He is a committed part of our school community who goes above and beyond for the students and staff whenever he is asked. When a task seems beyond our capabilities, Mr. Voorhees somehow finds a way to make it happen. His no challenge is too great attitude is highly commendable and contributes greatly to his success as an educator. Joe enjoys working behind the scenes, and through his teaching, our TV program is top-notch, and all of our school events are produced with a professional touch, he added. and I am glad that we can finally get Mr. Voorhees out from behind the curtain to give him the recognition that he so richly deserves. Mr. Voorhees earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in television and film from DeSales University. He is known for engaging his students in hands-on, high-interest activities in his classroom, where he creates an active, diverse environment where students learn by doing. In addition to his instructional efforts, Joe contributes his time at GL, our school district, and community in countless ways, including program development and design for GL TV, running the audio-visual system in the GL cafeteria, setting up remote public address systems, videotaping school graduations, plays, athletic contests, and special events throughout Berkeley Heights, assisting in the building of sets and creating special effects for the Hilltop Players, and serving as the school's auditorium coordinator. Furthermore, Mr. Voorhees is a member of our school district's technology committee, as well as the Berkeley Heights Township Communications Committee. Some of his students wanted to make sure that everyone knows that he has also filmed an episode of Dance Moms. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Joe Voorhees, GL Teacher of the Year.
It's hard to be nervous in a place that you consider your home. Good evening, Mrs. Ratner, the school board, administration, and everyone who's here sharing this with us this evening. I'm truly humbled to be here today, selected as the Governor Livingston High School Educator of the Year. It's a privilege to work with so many amazing teachers that provide students with opportunities that I only wish I could have had when I was in high school. I didn't take the traditional track in education. My buddy Mike says I kind of forced gumped my way into becoming a teacher. It was all about being at the right place at the right time. I went to college for TV film. I planned on working on television shows and movies, but by the time my senior year rolled around, my high school TV teacher was moving south for more weather. He had convinced me to apply for his job. I didn't get it. They did, however, hire me to work at the middle school and start a program that would broadcast morning announcements and act as a feeder program to the high school. While the middle school kids were exhausting, I loved working with them. What I really wanted to do was see how far kids can get into running a TV studio, and that's what brought me to GL. Little did I know at the time, I'd meet someone here named Ken Stiefel. Ken was the theaters coordinator. Ken was our everything here for a while. He had passed away in October due to cancer. One thing I remember Ken saying to me when I first started, there's nothing a high school kid can't do when you put your mind to it. Ken was right. I can say without a doubt, I truly love my job. There's nowhere else I can explore so many of my own interests and spark interests in others. It doesn't matter if I'm teaching someone to edit for the first time, or the other day I was gaff taping a GoPro camera to a hat so one of my advanced kids, Molly, can shoot driving shots for a music video. Every day is something new and exciting here. And everyone has a favorite part of their job. My favorite job has to be working with the Hilltop Players and the GLTV crew. I've had the opportunity to work with colleagues such as Christine, Joe, Chris, and Jeff. These are the people that make all the plays that you guys see here happen. They have the ability to take students and turn them into disciplined actors and technicians, not once, but twice a year. The passion these students display never ceases to amaze me, from memorizing Shakespeare to building revolving sets and getting comic timing down just right, or painting our stage decking here to cobblestone, only to have to be painted back to black 2 weeks later. Sorry, Tony. And finally, my GLTV crew. I spend more time with them than I do my own family. These are the students I have lunch with every day. We talk, we bounce ideas off one another, or sometimes we just sit there in silence. Yet, it's never really awkward. Amiano? One of my kids is always in here. We just kind of look at each other in the morning and just kind of go, it's morning, wait till the bell. So the TV crew became more than a club. We're a family. If you look around above the lighting grid in the TV studio, you'll see pennants from colleges all over the country. These are TV crew alumni that have graduated within the past 5 years, and they all come back every once in a while, shoot me a message on Facebook or email or something like that, and they just go, hey, here's what I'm working on. It doesn't have to be in TV. I've got one girl who was in South America doing volunteer work. They just like to keep us updated and know what's going on. and that's why I love working with them. All this wouldn't be possible without the support from my wife, Tracy, and my mom. The two of them understand that I'm here more often than I'm home, and they know why. My supervisor, Lori, who usually answers the phone, how much is this going to cost me now? Or the understanding of our administration, who knows for television to get made, the students need a certain amount of freedom, and while it often looks like organized chaos, in the end, it's all worth it, and they always learn something from it. Thank you.
GLPTO President, Mrs. Louisa Grossman.
See, when I walked in, I told you I was going to hand you a plant later. I wasn't kidding. Mr. Voorhees is known in the GL community as a fantastic teacher, a fearless leader, but most importantly, a dedicated mentor. On behalf of the PTO, I would like to congratulate Mr. Voorhees being named the Governor Livingston High School Educator of the Year.
We've now had the opportunity to share a brief celebration in each of the schools along with this program this evening. All of our teachers will be attending a breakfast in their honor on Wednesday, May 27th at Kean University with all the district honorees as well as all of the other Educators of the Year in Union County. So as I conclude our celebration, I want to thank all of our honorees for representing the highest ideals of teaching. Each of you richly deserve this recognition, in addition to the accolades of excellence, enthusiasm, and concern. You have consistently demonstrated that high expectations bring high performance. Congratulations once again. Mrs. Kirsch?
Evening for us as board members. We know how much our teachers are dedicated to the students and how much they mean to all of you. But I think as educators, the teachers often lose sight of just how much they touch each student that walks through their door every day. And I hope the sentiments that were shared tonight make them remember every day as they walk into the door how much they mean to each one of those students. I echo the sentiments expressed here tonight, and on behalf of the board, congratulations to each and every one of you. And thank you, not only to you, but also to each of your colleagues that take the time to educate and make our kids the very best students that they can be. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you.